Hey guys, I'm Padmavati. In this video, I'm going to discuss about isolation of plasmid DNA from bacteria. So, firstly, let us know what is plasmid DNA. As we all know, unicellular organisms are called as prokaryotes. Bacteria and viruses are some of the common prokaryotes. Bacteria have chromosomes made up of DNA as a genetic material. Besides this, the bacteria also contain a circular DNA in the cytoplasm of a cell called as plasmid DNA. So, let's start with some basic information on plasmid. What is plasmid DNA? So, as I mentioned earlier, the plasmid DNA contains several important genes for survival of bacteria. The perfect definition of plasmid DNA is a circular double-stranded DNA present in the cytoplasm of a bacteria that replicate independently from the bacterial chromosome is called as plasmid DNA. Plasmid DNA is also present in smaller eukaryotes and archaea. So let us know some of the properties of plasmid DNA. The plasmid DNA has several distinct properties. As I mentioned earlier, it is a circular molecule made up of double-stranded DNA. It is also considered as replicons, contains an origin of replication. Thus, it is self-replicating. It contains an antibiotic-resistant gene for the survival of bacteria, which helps in developing resistance against some natural antibiotics. The unique property of self-replication makes it unique and available to use in different molecular genetic research such as gene therapy, gene transfer and recombinant DNA technology. The picture is referred to the general structure of bacteria containing plasmid DNA as well as chromosomal DNA. Next, coming to the principle, it is based on the alkaline lysis method. The alkaline lysis method is nothing but, it is also called as alkaline extraction. It is a method used in molecular biology to isolate plasmid DNA from bacteria. It is not only used for isolation of plasmid DNA but also sometimes it is used to extract plant genetic material. In this method, the bacterial culture grown in LB broth are pelleted and resuspended in a resuspension buffer. Here, the resuspension buffer is a solution 1, which is often a basic pH-rich buffer. Now, the bacteria will be lysed with strong alkali, that is STS. The cellular DNA becomes linearized and the strands are separated, whereas the plasmid DNA is circular and remains topologically constrained. That means the two strands, although denatured, remain together. A neutralization buffer of potassium acetate is added to neutralize the strong alkali conditions. Next, coming to the methodology. The procedure starts with the volume of micropipette is set to 1500 microliter of bacterial culture taken into the Eppendorf tubes and kept in centrifuge for 5000 rpm per 5 minutes at 4 degrees centigrade. After centrifugation, the vial is taken out. The vial containing supernatant as well as pellet, the supernatant will be removed without disturbing the pellet. And now the volume is set to 100 microliter. The lysis solution 1 of 100 microliter is taken into the pellet containing vial and vortex it. Now again it is set for 200 microliters. Lysis solution 2 is added to the vial containing pellet and mixed with the help of vortex for 5 to 6 times, and it is stored in a ice box. And now again it is set to 150 microliter of lysis solution 3 is taken into the vial which is in ice box and mix 5 times, and the vial is taken in the ice box and centrifuge it for 5000 rpm at 4 degrees centigrade. Now the supernatant is removed and transferred into other vial after centrifugation. Now the volume is set to 200 microliter, 70% ethanol is added and mixed by vortex and again centrifuge for 5000 rpm at 4 degrees centigrade. After centrifugation, the vial is taken out and the supernatant will be removed. Now the ethanol is added to the vial containing pellet and we centrifuge again for 5000 rpm at 4 degrees centigrade. Now the supernatant will be removed and it is subjected to centrifugation. As I mentioned earlier, now the supernatant will be removed and it is subjected to agarose gel electrophoresis. As I mentioned earlier, there are 3 solutions, that is buffer. The first solution is resuspension buffer. It is a basic pH tris buffer which helps to denature DNA and EDTA. EDTA stands for ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. It is also known for several other names. It is a chemical used for both industrial and medical purposes. It is an amino polycarboxylic acid and a colorless water soluble solid. The next buffer is neutralization buffer. The neutralization buffer here is potassium acetate. It is added to neutralize the strong alkaline conditions. The next is lysis solution. The lysis buffer here is the STS detergent solubilizes the phospholipids and the proteins of the cell membrane, resulting in cell lysis and the release of cell contents. Here STS stands for sodium dodecyl sulfate, which is an anionic surfactant, that is detergent commonly used in research lab due to its multiple functions. It is also known to denature proteins. It is used in denaturing polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis by a determination of protein molecular weight. Next, as I mentioned earlier, after centrifugation, a small white pellet should be seen even after ethanol precipitation. Whether the plasmid DNA is extracted or not is analyzed by taking small volume run-down gel electrophoresis and visualizing it under UV transilluminator. Here we can analyze that it is dependent on how the purified plasmids are visualized and characterized. However, as I mentioned earlier, a small white pellet should be seen after the ethanol precipitation and centrifugation. A purified plasmid should give a single band on agarose gel. However, larger bands may be visualized due to supercoiling or nicking. A small bright band will also be seen, which will be RNA. And by processing or isolating the plasmid DNA, we can observe that when plasmid DNA is isolated and run on agarose gel, you may observe 2, 3 or even 4 more bands. The majority of your isolated DNA will be supercoiled DNA, but other form can also be observed. This picture refers or represents how many forms will show up on an agarose gel in terms of relative migration speed is shown in the diagram. Here, the supercoiled DNA is a native conformation found in vivo and occurs when extra twists are introduced into a double helix strand. And here, the nicked or relaxed circular plasmid, it is a form where DNA found in supercoiled form is not easily accessed by replication machinery. The linear plasmid form occurs when the DNA helix is cut in both strands at the same place. And a circular single-stranded plasmid is about during alkaline lysis plasmid process. Plasmids are denatured because the hydrogen bonds are disrupted by the alkaline conditions. That is why we can observe some circular single-stranded plasmid form. After analyzing or observing the plasmid DNA bands, we can observe the bands on the UV transilluminator. The presence of orange colored fluorescent bands on agarose gel indicates the plasmid DNA. Here we can observe different forms or different bands on the agarose gel which run on the agarose gel electrophoresis, as I mentioned earlier. This is the picture represents the orange color fluorescent bands on agarose gel under UV transilluminator. Thanks for watching. Everyone, please do like, share, comment. Thank you.